Yeah, baby. That's right. It is Thursday. It is 9. So it's UK Cowboys time. How are we doing, you three Scottish people?
Freezing my ass off.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not warm today at all up here in Scotland, and I'm gonna rub it in. I don't give a flying feck what you guys. You could be mad at me all you want, but I'm glad I'm going to be in a warmer climate by Monday.
Yes, the UK Cowboys get to America finally.
Finally,
but not finally, but finally in a while.
Yeah,
return.
The return.
The long way. I can't even talk. Jesus.
He's that excited.
Yeah, he's already drunk.
I wish, man. I wish.
Yeah. Well, I'll be phoning you over there, and I've got all my spies out like last time, ready to give me all the gossip.
Yeah. Let me just enjoy my holiday in peace, please. Thank you.
Hey, I'm allowed to have my spies watching. Knowing I like to get all the gossip before it gets over here. And I just like it just to spin you out.
Oh, yep, that was so full go at practice today. Yes.
He was quite correct. But yeah, it is the pregame show, guys. It's season 3, episode 18, 148 in total. Wow, 148. We have no life. But no, it's not that we have no life. We have dedication. That's what it is. We'll go with dedication. Yeah. But it's the pre-game show, guys, for this weekend's game against the Broncos. We'll get into the news and updates, but I'll get your opinion first and everyone at home. So tell us what you think about this weekend's game, guys. Get involved. Give us your quotes, your comments, and we'll get some things for you to get involved with later on in the fantasy segment. But let's ask you guys, you three Scottish folk, how do you feel about this weekend's game?
Very confident.
Yeah.
I think considering what's been happening with the whole trade deadline and stuff like that, it's actually worked to our advantage. There's no more Von Miller, which is always going to be a bonus.
Yes,
and I know you're going to cover up all the news and updates as well. But in terms of the Broncos, like you mentioned before we even started the show, Noah Fant's out. Bradley Chubb, I think you said, is not going to make the game.
Yeah, no, he won't be playing.
I mean, this is a dream scenario to be in, and this is something that I just found out not long ago, and I said it before the show. It's like this is going to be like we've not beaten the Broncos since 1995.
Correct.
And Lauren, what was it you said that as well?
Yeah, the history is good. The last time we beat the Broncos was 1995, as you say. That year, the Atlanta Braves won the World Series. The Milwaukee Brewers won the NBA.
Correct.
And of course, the Cowboys won the Super Bowl.
And the stars are aligned.
That's going to be a nice little segue into what I'm going to say first off the bat. I've seen loads, don't know about you guys, but I've seen loads of coverage of the Cowboys and the S word, and Cowboys fans getting pumped up towards looking at the Super Bowl in February. And you know what? I'm gonna endorse every single bit of it, because there will be sooner or later, every team hits a trough. Right now, we are ascending towards a peak. Right now. You have to enjoy the peaks, because there will be a trough sooner or later. Just because your team isn't looking at the Super Bowl doesn't mean that we can't look at the Super Bowl. I mean, think when was the last time we were there? I mean, of course, we're allowed to enjoy it. It's been so long.
Exactly. And here's the thing, like when you're talking about like especially Cowboys Nation, where you keep mentioning the word Super Bowl and stuff like that. I mean, every team does it. Let's be honest. Every team does say it when they feel as though they're doing well. They're going to say it. But I'm going to have a wee bone to pick with Sean Merriman, for example.
I saw that as well, Paul.
Honestly, when Sean Merriman can go and jump off a cliff for I care for his comments. Basically, he's trying to use something. He's trying to divert the question at him, because He was the guy that was on, don't know what news network it was, came out and said, it's like, if Dak is getting paid $30 million a season, then it's going to be the worst mistake in NFL history. That was quote for quote. Right. But yet he tweets out saying, "Oh, you Cowboys fans, you always talk about Super Bowl, but look where it gets you." It's like, no, listen, like the majority of us don't actually talk about it. It's you, the media, has put those words in our mouths, to be honest with you. But hey, we're enjoying the ride so far. Every fan does tend to have to say, "Oh, this could be our year." It could well and truly be, but we're not going to be jumping ups and downs in the air when we're still 6-1 right now. No chance. Once we make to the actual Super Bowl itself, then we can start saying that. But you, Sean Merriman, grow the hell up.
That was quite political. I like that.
I mean, see when you think about it, it was only 2015. We were 4-12.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we've had our trough. We're just enjoying the peak right now. So everybody can get off our backs.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no harm in having belief. I mean, like the thing I always so like there's no harm in going, "Oh, yeah, this is a team that can make it to the Super Bowl." It's when it goes too far and they're like, "I can see us winning the Super Bowl." It's like, well, it's just okay. All right,
Yeah.
I like it, but just have belief.
Yeah,
But shave it back a little.
I'm definitely going back towards what our good friend Brad Sham was talking about. Take every game at a time.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'm kind of approaching it now, because I don't want to get ahead of myself. But when
enjoy the ride.
Exactly. But when you've got absolute idiots like one, Sean Merriman, two, Stephen A. Smith, who's actually put us number one of his A list right now. The reason why he's doing that is because he's trying to troll the Cowboys fans right now. And it's like, mate, it's not going to work. You're being an absolute buffoon. You always will be a buffoon. Shut the hell up.
You got to know though that people like that and like Stephen A. Smith. You got to know that it's a character. You got to know that that's not really him. He doesn't believe what he's saying. He's playing a character. Is what he's doing.
I don't care, but put me on stage with Stephen A. Smith. I set about him.
I mean,
that's playing into his game.
It may be just me, but I prefer actual sports, like
sensible talk.
Yeah, like actual sports people on sports programs as opposed to actors.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
You know,
that's what he's doing. He's acting. It is an act, is what you've got to understand. And he's going to do it because simply that's what gets him that's what gives him the greens.
Yep,
of course it does. I mean, none of us are saying, you know, number 6 is on the way. We realize we've got the Cardinals, Rams, Packers. They're all NFC. So none of us are basically, you know, polishing the cabinet for number 6. We're just enjoying it. We're not
enjoy the ride
too seriously.
Yeah, enjoy the ride, man. But you know, we'll get into it. We'll get into it all before we get into it with ESPN and CBS employees and all the rest of it. We have been there before, getting into it with people, and it does get heated, should we say, in those arguments. But there we go. Should we kick things off then, as we usually do, guys, with the news and updates?
Let's go for it, man.
Yeah,
let's go for it. There's plenty to talk about. Rock and roll. Okie dokie. So coming straight off the bat, Jabril Cox, IR, with the ACL tear. His set date for return, though, it wasn't a major, huge tear, apparently, in terms of it, but his set date for return is 6 months from when he'll get it. But that does mean he is out for the season. Yeah. Interesting news to be added. We all know Bradley and he was cut. He cleared waivers and he's back on the practice squad.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah, he's back on. He's already back on. So I think a lot of people are saying, you know, about the penalty, causing on third down and all the rest of it. I disagree. I think it was a move because you've got to think you've got the likes of Michael Gallup coming back. You've got Tank. Gallimore,
exactly.
yeah, Tristan Hill. You've got to make some of these roster moves. If anything, especially with D-line, which is crazy to say for the Cowboys, they have so much depth, they need to make room. And so Bradley and I was the obvious place to go. Because as though we've spoken about Bradley and I and how much we like him, he is, when you stop and you think about it, a one-trick pony in what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you're right to bring up the point, Mike. He got us out, like he basically kept our offense on the sideline in the last game. But that's an easy target. I think he made the practice squad because he's not quite cut it yet. They're not giving up on him just yet. Obviously, he's on the practice squad and they see something. But when you've got good performers at defensive end for us just now, and it was almost the obvious choice. I mean, that sounds harsh, but like you're saying, he's not a versatile player.
And I think it's also the timing is quite key here as well. I mean, they released him on Tuesday, which is just obviously as the trade deadline was coming up. So most teams were looking at who was available for trades. They weren't necessarily looking at the waiver wire.
The waiver,
So, it's if you get people focusing on the trades, then, you can perhaps sneak an eye onto the practice squad as you have done. I mean, I know a lot of people thought he'd be a good fit for somebody like the Chargers or whatever. I'm kind of surprised that he actually was re-signed to the practice squad and that he'd cleared waivers. So
I was surprised he cleared waivers.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. I would have thought someone else would have picked him up.
More for his special teams, because as a guy who can go out and gun on special team, to go after the punter or the kicker on special teams, he's quite good at that.
And I think he's done enough in his limited snaps on defense this year that he's actually, he's probably put himself on people's radar, as a possible prospect to grow into the position. So.
It's not to say he won't though, like get picked up by somebody else.
Yeah,
because he is still fair game. It only takes a quick glance, and he could be off. So we'll enjoy it while it lasts. Basically, the depth.
In other news, Dak Prescott. He looks like he's going to be a go this week. He has been a full go in practice. All the news coming out and what we're getting is that he is ready to go. Whether that means they're going to rest him, because we were talking about this last week and we said it looks like he's going to go. It came back and it went on a to and fro. The only thing I would say is I was quite surprised after watching the warm-ups he was doing in last week's game that he was going through that much. It was quite intense if you watch what he was doing, and they still sat him. And I was like, well, what was the point in all of that then? But there we go. CeeDee Lamb came through, ankle injury, bird on the word, everything's fine. Yeah. It's a sprain, light sprain. He's been working out, doing some individual drills, but yes, same news coming through here that it's been on the 105, the fan as well, that everything's looking fine there. Other news, Blake Jarwin, he's going to be out. He took he caught a ball across the middle last week in the game, came down awkward, smashed his hip, in a bit of pain. So it's looking doubtful he's going to play, which meant they activated tight end Sean McEwen. So we're going to be seeing a bit more of him. In other Blake Jarwin news, I don't know if you heard, Green Bay phoned up, said, we would like Blake Jarwin, please. Yeah. According to some of the facts I've got, they offered a third round draft pick for him, and they just straight out refused. They said, we ain't helping you out. Because at the end of the day, they could be facing Green Bay in the playoffs.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Packers must have been having some of Aaron Rodgers' homeopathic remedies, if they thought they were going to give up Jarwin for a third there, but.
I mean, Robert Tonyan's on injured reserve now.
Yeah,
so
he's done
it. But they're not going to get somebody like Blake Jarwin on the cheap. I mean, it's just they're basically just dipping their toes in the water.
I
But I
think,
trying to
like,
trying to luck.
I think the reason why they're making a phone that out there is because, like, obviously Jarvis on the bigger
Schultz.
contract.
And Schultz is playing so well, and it's like, let us help you out.
Yeah.
Well, they were taking on the big bulk of the rest of that contract still. So
yeah.
But I don't know about you other guys, but see when Mike was running down the list, I was basically saying, yeah, that's okay. If Lamb misses it, we've got Cedric Wilson. Yeah, that's okay. We've got Dalton Schultz to come in. There's so much depth around the Cowboys right now. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's so good that we're not like, it's not a knee-jerk reaction every time we lose a starter. It's like the backup is ready to come in and push them all the way, and it's just amazing.
I
know.
And even obviously we've got Tyron Smith's not playing this weekend.
Which is fine. I'm okay with that.
We've got options. We could have Lyle playing. We could have Lyle playing left tackle. We could have him playing right tackle and switch Steele across. See how he gets on there.
Or Inseki, who's naturally a left tackle. I mean, we'll get into that when we get to the offense, because that is a subject I want to talk about, is the left tackle position. Because obviously Tyron Smith, as we said, he's out with what we call over here splints. They call it over there bone spurs. There is an operation that he can have if they decide to go down that road to shave it back and get it removed. It's about 2 weeks because it's not a major deal. See what happens. But go on, Paul.
I'm telling you, if Graham was to predict the fucking future, by the way, he would be a millionaire. I just wish Graham put a bet on when roughly Tyron Smith would have been missing a game this year, and he did say, you're talking about the halfway point of the season, you would expect to see Tyron Smith miss a game. Yeah,
the only thing I would say to that though is it's a bone injury. You know, when it comes to bones, it's not like there's anything you can do with that. It's not like you can train to make your bones stronger. I mean, you can drink milk.
Well, it's actually, in most cases, it's a sort of calcification of the bone as well. So it's a growth of calcium on the bone. And obviously, the main thing for anybody is, depending on where it is, it ruptures or it rubs against the ligaments, the tendons and what have you.
It's supposed to be quite sore.
It causes pain. So it's I'm sure Tyron Smith could actually gut it out. I don't think it's anything it's more a sort of management so that we do have him for the remainder of the season and we can rely on him at points. But again, if this was us going up against, say, Kansas City, I think Tyron would probably be playing. But in theory, this should be a good game for us to rest some guys. Especially when you see that obviously last week that we won with Cooper Rush at quarterback, and having Dak sitting off.
I mean, they do need to take advantage of this part of the schedule, because when I was looking at it, I was going through it, and I was just like, wow, this is. Especially when you think of this time of the year, like when you look back last week, there was a lot of injuries because it's that time of year. The wear and tear is starting to come on to those seasoned players. So you're starting to see that. Last week was just crazy for injuries. So you do expect it, but when it's like, when you look at the schedule, you're like, man, this is just like such a nice schedule where if you need, because think Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's fairly banged up at the moment. There's always something with Amari. Here's a great time for him to ease back a little bit, let Lamb, Cedric Wilson, if you're going to bring CD Lamb back, which we'll talk about as well, there's a great time to do it in this bit of the schedule. It's a great time to do it. But also in other news, Trayvon Diggs asked the question. He's fine. Don't worry about it. I've been told. I'm like, okay. Anything more to add? And like, no, just don't worry. I was like, okay.
I mean, the reporters were standing outside the locker room on the Sunday, and he was walking without a boot, so and wasn't showing any signs of limping or anything like that. So I think it was just, obviously, it was third last play of the game or something like that he came down on. So there's no point in risking him. And it can just be the way that the tape that will be around their legs. It can just be that the tape shifted and it puts the ankle in a funny position. So.
Yes, yeah, but in that report though, it's saying that he's fine. I give this out as well every week. The Cowboys now, their playoff chances rank second in the NFL at 98%. To win the division, they rank second again. To win the NFC East, and they have a 96% chance of winning the NFC East. Other news, Denver are, of course, 4-4. They're at 500. But the only thing I will add, they're 4 wins. They're 4 wins. They've come from the Giants, the Jags, the Jets, and Washington.
Well, that kind of explains quite a lot, doesn't it?
And man, if you want to watch how bad the Broncos are, go back and watch the Browns game. I mean, that game was just awful. It was horrific, honestly.
Well, they also, I mean, they almost gave Washington the win last week as well. I mean, their handling of the fourth quarter was not good.
Yes,
and obviously Washington's kicker being rubbish, and I think Washington had 4 attempts at first and goal, and couldn't punch it in. You know, it got down to the 1 yard line, something like that, and had 2 or 3 attempts to punch it in and couldn't get it in. So
I think you only have to look at the fact that they've traded Von Miller to. I mean, that's just a beacon to say, we're not doing anything this season.
And Carrie Vincent. So, and bear in mind the other corner,
Bryce Callahan.
He's gone on to IR.
Yep.
They've got no pass rush, they've got no corners, and their linebackers, as we will look, are not great. The only other thing we wanted to add, which is very important, is UK Cowboys. We are officially booking in and locking in our next meet, which is in February for the Super Bowl, and it will be held in Glasgow. So all the members in the group, they've all punched in and agreed or saying if they're going or not going. Still plenty of time, guys, and we do expect, because we're talking Super Bowl, the Cowboys are in it, we will up the game. Don't you worry. There's a plan A and a plan B. So don't you worry about that. So it should be good fun. And that is, as I say, in Glasgow. So should we get onto the Cowboys offense, guys?
Yeah, let's go
for it.
Let's do it, baby. Woo! So the thing
Hold up, Mike. Hold up.
Yes.
480 miles. Jesus, Valenti. Where you come from? Abroad?
Get on the plane.
Mike, you're what 500 miles? Nah, we're
ain't that a song? Ain't that a song for Scotland? Hey, and if it's for you guys, I'd walk 1,000 miles. Don't you worry.
Oh God, here's the trust of soppy stuff.
Hey, you the guys that gave me a bottle of vodka and a nice Cowboys vest for the new baby. So thank you very much.
Oh no, you're
honoured. Honoured. It's very lovely, very touching.
I take it you got it okay then, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saving the vodka for the Super Bowl party when I come up. We'll all drink out of it.
Oh no, you're not drinking vodka. You're drinking Buckfast. That's that.
Oh, that means we're having a deep fried pizza as well then.
Oh no! Trust me, you don't want that. Trust me.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it once and it confused the hell out of me. So the thing I put on you, Cowboys front 7, and in big bold letters, suck. And what I would want to add to this, when you're talking about the Denver Broncos, that's absolutely crazy to say.
I know, after being so renowned for their offense in the past.
You said the Cowboys front 7 there.
No, the Broncos front 7.
Right.
Oh, right. I'm getting...
Right. Yeah, Broncos front 7 suck.
Did I say the Cowboys front 7?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I was taken aback. I thought, have I missed something?
I did not mean that, everyone. I did not mean that. No, the
He's
Broncos
just
front
Brain
seven.
strikes
So
again.
excited.
I know, baby brain is in full flow here. The Broncos front seven defense, and I put in big letters, sucks. Not the Cowboys. The only
But
thing
that's
I
what
would add.
happens. That's
Go
what
on,
happens
Greg.
when you trade away your best piece. I mean,
Texas
But
A&M's.
But to be
Von
honest,
Miller.
Graham, like even with Von Miller there, they weren't really doing anything. Like,
No, go on.
the whole. I think the whole trade thing is more so that Broncos just offloaded him because he's still in his long part of his contract, near the end of his career. LA are trying to capitalize on any marketing they can do from jersey sales with the name of Von Miller on their team, who can probably still contribute, no problem, depending on what team he goes to. But with Denver right now and how their situation and how their coaching are doing right now, I think it just wasn't really like Von Miller was not the same player at Denver anymore and just needs a different change.
I think
To me,
Vaughn's
I
actually
think that
his last year of his contract. I think his last year of his contract. So it was a case of he would have been going somewhere else. So get what you can for him, and for a team like the Rams to give up a second and third for him when you see that Melvin Gordon only went for a sixth. Not Melvin Gordon, sorry,
Melvin Ingram.
Melvin Ingram went for a sixth from
That's crazy.
Steelers to the Chiefs. The Rams obviously have a thing against draft picks. I mean, they're almost doing what the Washington football team did when Snyder took the team on, and gave away all their draft picks and said, "Oh, we're signing all these big name free agents," and it never actually, it never panned out for them at all. These big time free agents were all well into their career, running the risk of picking up big injuries, and that's what it did, and it put Washington into salary cap hell for a few years. So this is what obviously I think it's because the Rams were in the Super Bowl only a couple of years back that they think the window's still there. They've got Stafford. They reckon that this is it. They're going to be able to carry on. So anyway, let's get back to the Broncos.
No, but I mean, it's a good point because, like I say, I think Von Miller was gone anyway. At the end of the year, so the Broncos are trying to capitalize on that chance while they've got it, and people, because the Cowboys inquired about Von Miller too. They had it was, and that has come out that we did do it. That we phoned up and made inquiries, but obviously the asking price is too much. Mm-hmm. And it's no surprise with the Rams to do it because they've given up 2 day 2 picks for him. But the Rams are just very bad at drafting. And if you look, they've given up all their first round picks for premium players. But if you have a look at their day 2 picks in a draft are terrible. So it's just like,
yeah. I mean, where did Lauren go? Oh, he's away.
He's come back.
He'll come back.
I mean, the only first round draft pick they had actually done so well and was obviously Aaron Donald. That's the only one I can really recall.
They're just not very good at look at last year's day 2 draft pick. They took. Go on,
they had Todd Gurley for a while. He was okay for them for a couple of years.
But he was coming out with injury problems. No, but even then.
But his first 3 seasons were actually pretty decent. He was.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that he wasn't a bad player. I'm just saying though he was coming out of college with injury issues.
Yeah.
But like I say, their day 2 drafting has always been bad, which is why it's no surprise the Rams got them and the Cowboys didn't. Like I say, I was going to say last year's day 2 draft pick, their first draft pick of last year's draft was Tutu Atwell.
What
are you doing with that? You know what I mean? So there we go.
Mike's frozen.
Is Mike on as well?
I think so.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll be back. There we go. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
There you go. It was only a glitch. It was just a slight glitch. But yeah, I like Shelby Harris. he's an interesting piece that I quite like. And obviously they have a cornerback in Patrick Surtain that we try to obviously get for ourselves. But here's something that's quite interesting for you, because a lot of people talk about the Broncos defense, rightfully so, because that's what they're renowned for. But the Broncos defense has been in the bottom 8 in the last 5 weeks. So they started off well, and then they've started to tail off a bit in the last 5 weeks versus teams that have a winning record. This season, they've allowed 25 points on average, and the Cowboys, while Dak are playing, average 39 points a game.
Yeah, there's no talent there. I mean, especially now that, I think Bradley Chubb has been on IR since week 2 of the season.
Yeah.
And hasn't have any sign of coming back. So that's your pass rush away. I mean, you've traded Von Miller. There's no Bradley Chubb.
Nope. No linebackers.
I'll be honest. I think 4-4 flatters the Broncos. I think it really does.
It just shows you.
It does. You're right, Greg. You're right.
Well, just to add a bit more sting, and this is more towards our rivals in the NFC East. How sucks
they're our rivals. Yeah. But if anything, you think about it, the Broncos have helped us out because they beat the Giants and Washington.
Absolutely,
they have.
Yep. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, even though how bad the Broncos are, how bad are our rivals right now? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right.
But you know me. Here we go again. Going through some of the stats and trying to pick apart some of the stats. And I know whenever I start doing this, Paul always comes out with a little smile. Okay. The Broncos defense on early downs, on first and second downs, versus the pass, they rank 5th, which is not bad at all. All right. But the Cowboys on first down, forget about second down. We're just talking about first down. Yeah. So they're 1st and 10. They average 5.3 yards in rushing, which ranks 1st in the NFL. Here's a crazy stat, right? To go and check. The Cowboys, if they continue on this trend for the season, they will break an NFL record, which is they average 100.3 yards of rushing yards per game on first down. So just on first down alone, they average just ever so slightly over 100 yards a game.
Wow.
Does anybody want to guess what position their top 2 tacklers play?
Defensive tackle, I do believe, isn't it?
They're both safeties.
Oh, there we go.
So what does that tell you? If your top 2 tacklers are safeties, your D-line and your linebackers aren't getting it done.
Mate.
I mean, I go back to the top of the show. I mean, this shows just how much confidence we have in the team right now. I mean, we're picking bones. I'll be honest, I haven't watched any Broncos football this year, and I'm definitely, I almost feel arrogant. It just shows how good a place we're in just now.
But I mean, look at what we can do. That on early downs, the Broncos' best thing that they can do is defend the pass. Dak's coming back in, so it's like, here we go. The Broncos have to respect Dak, so they've got to defend the pass, which obviously means then, with the way the Cowboys are running the ball, with both Zeke and Tony Pollard, they're both having phenomenal years. 2021, as I keep saying. So, like, these pair together in this game, I think they're going to absolutely eat, is the best way to say it. And this is another perfect game for it. And then on third down, if you've got Dak in there, just get him to make plays. at the end of the day, the Denver Broncos on third down, in stopping third down, they rank 27th at a rate of 44%. It's bad. And the Cowboys in third down conversion on offense rank 5th. So run the ball, get to third down, and take your chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I make a point, but shout out to everyone who's just joined the show right now. Just notice we've got a couple of new followers. Joseph from Texas, welcome to the show. We've also got our good friend Joe from Italy. Just obviously Bonacera. We talked about the whole Von Miller thing earlier. But yeah, guys, get your comments, keep coming in. The more you comment, the more we can talk about.
As we always say every week, you are our MVPs. I just thought I'd go through as well. When I was going through it to have a look at third down stops to see where, so as I say, Denver ranked 27th in their ability to stop third down. Can you guess who 29th is?
Please tell me it's the Eagles.
No, it's not.
Vikings?
No. 29th, so you know, and there's a theme here. 29th is Kansas City.
Right. So 30th must be Atlanta.
Yes. 32nd. Can you do 32nd?
It'll be Las Vegas?
No, Washington.
Oh.
See, there's a theme happening.
Yeah. The confidence is oozing out of this podcast.
Yeah. Going back to what Paul said before with the from American Pie, confidence is high.
Yeah.
Confidence is high.
The Shermany.
Just
but
enjoy it. Just
exactly.
Enjoy
but
it.
Let's get on to the subject I really wanted to touch on, which is left tackle. Now, we just said Broncos defense right now, front seven is not something that's a big threat, but they are still professionals and they are still players in the NFL. So you have to respect the fact, and you can't go out there expecting we're just going to boat race these guys.
Absolutely.
You have to go in with confidence. Left tackle, what are we doing? For me, I don't want to mess around with the blind side. We seen him last week, and he got the job done. So I'm keeping him there. I'm keeping Steele at my right tackle, and I'm putting Inseki at left tackle, only because he is a pure left tackle. He does play the position. He's a swing tackle. I know Lyle Collins is the better player, and I know that he played left tackle in college, but I'm not messing around with it. What are you guys doing, though? Give me your opinions, and everyone at home, too.
I totally agree, Mike. If it's not broken, don't try and fix it. Like, you know what I mean? So, next year, like you had one, but like it was a FA holding call to be fair, just because his arm was a wee bit raised up and it looked as though he was holding him by the neck.
Yeah,
but I can understand why that was being called. But other than that, he never put a foot wrong. Really, like he was made some really good, decent blocks, especially in the run game as well. So yeah, I find that next year, just like he's done exactly what you want for a backup to do, is fill in the gap, and just go ahead with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think from what I've listened to on Talking Cowboys today, certainly in practice yesterday, they toyed with Lyle was back at right tackle, and they moved Steele across. But I mean, this could be you try something out on a Wednesday, you try something out on a Thursday, you try something out on a Friday, and make a decision on the Saturday. Smoke screen
it too.
Exactly. Like you just like how many smoke screens did we have over Connor Williams this year?
Over last week with Dak.
Yeah. Yep. Like the smoke screens, like Connor Williams playing center, Connor Williams playing whatever, Connor Williams playing bloody safety. You know what I mean?
I mean, I raised the point through the off season that you were eventually
exactly, Brando. Sorry, like that's what I was trying to say. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
is what we keep saying every week.
Yeah.
And I raised the point about Tyron Smith through the off-season, but see, to be perfectly honest, 6 months on, I'm not the least bit concerned, especially playing against the Broncos. I could see either scenario, and to be honest, I'd be perfectly happy with either scenario. So whether that's we stick with what we had the last game, or we go with Steele at right tackle and move Collins back to left tackle, or vice versa. Because confidence is that high in the group.
Confidence is high.
It's a much better position than we were in the off season. Basically, when you didn't know what you had, so now you know what you've got. I'd be happy with either combination. Because like when I raised those points, you didn't know we were going to have Terrence Steele at this level. You didn't know you were going to have such a good swing tackle to step in and play the position either. So,
yeah.
It's a vastly improved situation since last season, and because of that situation, I'm not the least bit bothered about losing Smith, because especially up against a team with such a poor pass rush this week. This week anyway.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've got like. I know the whole thing about the whole Lyle Collins situation, stuff like that. Well, where we're going to fit him back in, because Steele's doing such a good job right now. Like, I mean, does everyone keep forgetting that he actually played his first 2 seasons as left guard for the Cowboys?
He did. He did.
Yep. Like, and he was really good at it. He really was. He was upfield smashing linebackers to abomination and going upfield. I can't remember what game it was in particular, but he ran the pack for running the lane for Zeke, especially during the run game. And he's got that more overwhelming strength presence when it comes to being in the guard position. So if it was me, I don't know about everyone else's thoughts, but I would put Lyle in guard, have Neshke at left tackle, have Steele on right tackle, and you still have like Bayadish and Zach Martin. Yeah. So that to me, like you can't go wrong there, because I still feel like I know I keep bashing corners, and I'm sorry, but like
no, but you got a right to be.
I'm with you, Paul. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I'm sure he's a great guy now, but he's just not doing it. Like he's made quite a lot of mistakes this year in terms of when there was no need to hold on and whatever and that, and it's really important plays where, like, for example,
he could have cost you the Patriots game.
That Patriots game, for example, was a prime example of that. But yeah, I'm just like, man, why not just give Lyle the shot back at the guard and let him be an absolute beast at the end?
Go on, Paul. Go on. Finish what you were saying. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just about to finish. It was just like, just let Lyle Collins be back inside of the offensive line.
Yeah,
smash the nose tackles to oblivion.
The only thing I was going to add is that, like, even Lyle himself has come out this week and said he prefers the left side of the line anyway.
Yeah,
he has come out. He said he's more comfortable on the left than he is the right. Just so happens that we put him to right tackle. He's learned the position. He knows how to play. That's where we've kept him. But his home is on the left in his mind and his comfortability. Everyone has a preference. Do you know what I mean? A personal preference. Yeah.
For me, I hated playing right side because the way my stance was. I hated it, and I could like, even though it's like the same position, it's not really.
No.
It's complete polar opposite. It's like try to write with your left hand with your right hand. It's like,
as I've said before, it's like wiping your ass with the wrong hand.
Or kick a football with your strong foot, with your right weak foot.
Yeah, another way to do it.
It's weird. It's awkward. And doesn't take over time. Like, it will take years to develop to make like a strong foot.
Yeah, so, the best one that when we was doing the scouting academy was that they talked about catching the ball with your wrong hand. Throw a tennis ball and catch it with your opposite hand. That's how it feels. And that the whole movement of your body, and it's about muscle memory. Everything's the complete opposite. It's a mirror, so everything feels disjointed and out of position. I quite like that. It was a good way to explain it. But I mean, go on.
No, I was going to say, I mean, going back, I mean, Lyle Collins was a left tackle in college at LSU.
He was, yeah.
So that's why he's more natural on the left-hand side. The one point I would say about him playing guard, and again, I've kind of said this the last couple of weeks as well, that year that the year before we switched him to right tackle, he was injured. Ron Leary came in, and when Lyle came back from injury, they kept Ron Leary in. So, yeah, maybe it's the previous coaching staff, but the previous coaching staff actually preferred Ron Leary at left guard, or at that point in time. And I think, he was. Collins is great. He's pulling or moving down the line, but again, he was exactly the same as Connor Williams when he was needing to be big on big and block up the man right in front of him. There was holding calls against him as well. So, but I mean, he certainly seems to have developed his technique, whether it's as a tackle or whatever, but he certainly seems to have improved, whereas I think Connor Williams, to be honest, has stayed fairly static. He's plateaued.
Well, here's the difference though, Lauren. The difference between Connor Williams and Lyle Collins, if you were to put both of them playing that left arm position, I know who exactly I would want. I would want a guy that's going to smash your face into that defensive line. Like, Connor doesn't really have that, really. Like, as much as Lyle can be nasty and knock your teeth out. He can be that guy. Whereas Connor, look, he'll just hold up the block and try and guide around. Like,
like Connor has got more of that swinging door technique.
Yeah.
Like, where he's trying to manipulate you that way to get away from where you're trying to play.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the season we'll let Connor Williams go, and he'll end up somewhere, and he'll either be a centre or he'll be a tackle. He won't be a guard.
And he'll be like the best player in that O-line then, and we'll all be like, "Oh, for God's sakes."
And you know what's going to happen? It's going to be a nice scenario where a former Cowboys players going like Kansas City in that end up getting a bloody Super Bowl and they've even played one game.
Yeah, like the Anthony Hitchens sort of
situation.
What's that?
He'll go there with a ring, though. Will he not?
Pop. The only other thing I wanted to add, though, before we move to the defense, was Michael Gallup. Do you play him in this game to give Amari a bit of a break, or do you rest him for another week?
Well, according to the ESPN injury report, Cooper has showed up on it as well.
It's fine, though. Well, whatever Cooper has apparently isn't major. But I haven't got to the bottom of that one yet because it just sprung up on us. Apparently, Cooper's supposed to be fine.
I'd give Cedric Wilson a nod. He did a fantastic job the other game. He's definitely became that utility wide receiver that we did not. Well, we kept wondering why over previous seasons. It's like we hardly ever see him. Like, you know what I mean? In terms of he's been like with Gallup and Cooper being ahead of him, and obviously when we drafted
injuries as well.
Yeah, but we never really got to really see, like, we saw glimpses of him last season against the Washington game last year. Like, and it was like, why has he been kept hidden for so long? But now we're kind of starting to see him being more like used for different things. He's been spread, like Kellen Moore starting to kind of use the wide receivers and a lot more shared variety across the board.
Getting into the backfield with him.
Absolutely. And we're seeing that, and not just that, man. Like, I still can't believe he threw that pass. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Did you know he's averaging? Yeah. You know he's averaging though 28 yards per pass.
Yeah, because this is his only pass.
He's done two.
No, he's done two this year, and then you had he threw the touchdown pass to Dak last year in the Giants game as well.
Correct.
Oh, that's right.
He's had two this year though, but so it's averaging like a pass every 3 games. So I quite like that. I like that.
I would give Wilson more of a game, simply because I think it's going to be a run-heavy game on Sunday anyway. I think we'll run them to death on Sunday. give Michael Gallup the time that he needs. Take the pressure off of Coop and Lamb, and let Wilson and the rest see some of the ball. Why not? Because they've proved themselves worthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, a lot of the injury reports, like with Cooper and everything, you've also got to take into account they're spending a lot of time in the film room this week. They've done a lot of film work because it's a player you're less familiar with, so it makes sense. So if they're not out there for a reason, it blows up a bit more. It becomes more exacerbating than it really is. But before this becomes just the offense side, should we move to the defense, do the fun side?
Let's go.
Let's rock and roll. I remember last year doing the doing the defense and always being like, this time it's like, hey, we're doing the defense.
It's
It was only
we got
last
a
season.
defense. We got a defense.
It was only last season. Cannot thank Dan Quinn enough.
I know. But you remember doing this show last season, and like every week it was just like, let me take an aspirin and we'll try and get through this. We'll do our best. We'll do our best to hype everyone up.
Last season I was an alcoholic. This year this year I just love getting drunk.
Or your liver and your kidneys have climatized to the booze, that's all. But Broncos offense, guys, very methodical, really well balanced. Something they do like to do, though, is play the possession game. But when you talk about the possession game, this is where it gets all a bit jumbled up for me. That they rank in the NFL 4th in average time per drive, which is more than 3 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. But they hardly run the ball. And then you say, oh, okay, well, then it's a lot of dink and dunk passes. It's really not. I'm like, it boggles my mind when you look at it. It doesn't make any sense. The way it works, Teddy Bridgewater tries to play out of structure, extend the play, which he's not really very good at doing anymore. Used to be when he first came out, till that nasty leg injury. We almost lost his leg. But it's big plays. And he tries to throw the ball deep downfield. But here's the crazy part, that the Broncos, after all of that, they punt more than any other team apart from 2 other teams, one of them being the Seahawks, which I was surprised with. They punt more than any other teams, and they're always out of field goal range when they try and make these drives.
Interesting.
I know. Do you see what I mean about how disjointed this offense is?
Yeah.
It's crazy. When you look at it statistically, none of it matches up. Normally you can see a pattern. Do you know what I mean? When you look at the numbers and the flow of what they're doing with the ball, and when you get the field and you put an X or a 0 on where the balls are landing.
It boggles me because they do have 2 really good wide receivers in Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton.
And Jerry is back this week. This is his first week back.
They don't make a difference in the red zone, though. I mean, the pair of them have only got 5 touchdowns combined.
Do you know what? Do you know what this sounds like? This sounds like our offense last year.
It does a bit. After Dak went out,
yeah. When Dak was
one of the really crazy stats about the Broncos is that Teddy Bridgewater has over a 70% completion record this season as well.
Does.
So again, he's getting the completions. It's, as we've said, it's not dink and dunk.
No,
because
his ADOT is like he's right. He's in the top 10 in his ADOT.
Yeah. He's got 100.6 quarterback rating for this season as well. But it's just not. Something's breaking down at some point. That they're losing it in crucial situations. So
I'll tell you where it is. It is that their O-line is very bad. They give up more pressures than any other team, and Teddy Bridgewater has been sacked this season already 22 times. That's third most in the NFL.
Yeah,
and that's where it's going wrong.
For me, they don't have a consistent difference maker. I mean, see if you've scored 3 touchdowns on the Broncos, you're joint top. They've got maybe they've got maybe 3 or 4 players that have scored 3 touchdowns, a couple that have scored 2 and 1 and 1 and 1. There's no like who do you double on the Broncos? Like it's probably Courtney Sutton, but he's not. They're not getting it done. They're not scoring points on a regular basis. I mean, they've got playmakers here and there, but are there any fantasy studs on the Broncos? I don't think
not
so.
someone that they can lean on.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, DJ Dogs are bringing up the point where like Devontae Williams, like
great, but he's still learning.
He's a good player. He's still learning. Like I'd see him like if they had a better offensive line, then like the weakest part is their guards. Their guards are not that great at all. Like,
in the middle.
Like Garrett Bowles, who's the left tackle, is probably their best player in that offensive line, but hands down. Like and that's down to like how the completion rate is so good for Bridgewater because his blind side's been covered really well. But when you cover over to the right side of the ball of that offensive line, it's not so good at all. So if I was us, get Randy Gregory on that right side of their offensive line and just cause
segue. I will let you continue with your talk because the segue about the sacks and the pressures is less segue into Randy Gregory. He is right now ranked the 3rd best pass rusher in the NFL. How great is Randy Gregory right now? And you were talking about him, Paul, so I'll let you continue.
What did I say even before the season? This was going to be his season. And I've been saying this all along. And now's the time where we need to get him signed to a long, extended deal.
Agree.
Like, now's the time. We can't leave this late any longer. If he gets 2 sacks in this game, like, his price is going to go even more higher. We can't afford to do that, especially with the cap. I know the cap's going to go up in a couple of years' time, but still, we just want to make sure that we've got him in a longer-term deal without busting the extra bucks when we can get him a lot cheaper. But anyway, what I was going to say was, with that right-hand side of the offensive line, there is definitely gaps where we can really expose. And that's where you tend to see where Micah Parsons lines up as well, is on the right-hand side. Well, left side on the defense, right-hand side of the offense. So having Gregory and having Parsons on that side is just going to be absolute fundamental for us. We do still need to give Garrett Bowles, the left tackle, something to struggle with. So we still need the interior tackles to kind of even push in, hit the gaps and just disrupt Garrett if they're going inside that gap. I'm just trying to think who our other edge rusher would be, if it's Basham or whoever.
It'll be Basham, who isn't doing bad either.
He's not doing too bad at all. So Basham against Garrett Bowles, just make sure that just try and give him as hard time as a problem, but you're going to see more of the action being on the right-hand side of the Denver Broncos offense and our left. And
it is great what Randy Gregory's, and he's doing it just at the right time, and he's timing it perfectly. And what it is with Randy Gregory, if you notice, it seems to be that he gets better as the game goes on, but it's not. It's that guy has a motor that just does not stop. That what he brings the same intensity on snap 1 as he does all the way at the back end at snap 68 at the end of the game. And that's why it's insane to watch. And this guy right now, I know people are loving Micah Parsons and they're liking Trayvon Diggs. Randy Gregory for me right now is the main guy on this defense is doing it all. Because what he's doing is he's creating a pass rush, whether that's a sack or a pressure, he's doing it without the Cowboys having to bring a blitz. And when you can get a pass rush without a blitz, you've got a star.
I mean, here this is going to be a wee controversial take. You can always
go for it.
You can always say Dak Prescott will be comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
But you can always still say Randy Gregory can be a comeback candidate of the year, despite.
Let's see where you're going.
With everything he's went through. This is let's remember, everyone, this is pretty much his first full-on season.
With preseason,
training camp, preseason, off-season, off-season training and workouts with personal coaches.
OTAs.
Exactly. This is the first full-on season. There's been no drama. It's been fully go, no NFL interruptions, and we're seeing the difference. Like we saw him, snippets of him being dropped in with exemptions by the NFL, but it's like you can play 2 games there and there, and he has made an impact. Like I know I keep using this game as a reference, but Tampa Bay a couple of years ago. Like I know, but you saw the impact what him and at the time David Irvin did. At the time, they two just caused absolute mayhem against that offensive line for Tampa. But looking back now, it just shows you that Randy has that, like, he is proven that he can be this guy.
Yeah, he is right up there for me. One of my favorite players on the defense, and what he is doing. Parsons, we could talk about what he done. NFC Defensive Player of the Week last week. I know we had a comment there about Randy and DeMarcus. What I like more than anything is when DeMarcus comes back, which is supposed to be in a couple of weeks' time, is Parsons and Tank on the strong side of that line. That is just pure hell. That is just havoc. You're talking about a hammer and a scalpel.
Well, that depends on how the offense is lined up. Like,
I'm just saying in generalities.
Yeah. Like it's the strong side of the ball depends how many wide receivers there are on whatever side.
Yeah. And you think about it, that they're trying to cover the strong side with MP. Imagine then what that leaves for Randy Gregory on the other side.
Not to mention if you even had Gallup on the strong side of the interior as well.
Do you think with the Cox ACL, do you think we've seen the last of Parsons at defensive end?
Yes.
He needs to play linebacker. He needs to play
linebacker. I think he still will have that role of what we were talking about. Well, what I've been talking about is like that Von Miller-esque hybrid. He can fall down to the line of scrimmage. Which I think it's based on the situation.
Yeah.
Whereas if they think if it's going to be a run blitz, then he's going to move up to the line and become more of that extra edge type of thing.
If you look at his snap count last week, Micah Parsons, he was, his snap count in terms of where he was played in position. He was in and out of a few different positions. He played the slot, he played at D-line, he played at linebacker, and he played just outside the box. They played him everywhere. They utilized him as that movable chess piece we keep talking about.
And I mean, his recognition skills last week, I mean, that was Sean Lee.
4 tackles for a loss.
That was Sean Lee-esque last week. It
was. Agree.
Sniffing out screen passes. I mean, that was almost like the Philadelphia game in 2016 where, out for a 4-yard loss. And
well, going back to D-line play, Lorne and Paul playing D-line, you got to understand how difficult it is, and how, not just in terms of play dissection and understanding of what the offense is doing, but the athletic ability to do a tackle for a loss. There's a lot that goes into that. It's not just as simple as that player just so happened to be at the line and made a tackle before he got there. There's a lot of recognition, and you've got to be able to get there in time as well. To have 4 of them in a game is insane. And I always look at, with linebackers, you tackle for a loss. That's always a good place to start. How many tackles? Oh, okay, you had so many tackles for your season. Great. Give me your tackles for a loss then, which is a great one.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me, tackles for loss doesn't get nearly as much glitz and glamour as a sack.
No. Yeah.
But it's effectively It's effectively the same thing.
Exactly.
The only difference is you're not tackling the quarterback, you're tackling the ball handler.
You're not tackling the star man on the team.
All it is.
I mean, tackles for loss should be not celebrated
like a sack. Right. But it should be, because it's a very tricky thing to do, and especially if the running back is floating away from the defense and trying to bounce on the outside, for a linebacker to get back in there and hit it quick, it's hard.
I'm going to bring up comment of the night. and I totally agree. And this reminds me of Sean Lee a lot. And he's in the Star in Frisco, 6 a.m. the day after the game for extra film study. That is the dedication of a player that is hungry, wants to play football, wants to play for this team.
Yeah,
that is and this is coming from a rookie. Let's just remember that this is coming from a rookie. Parsons and Andrew said it earlier. Well, has been elite. He is elite. He's not been elite. He is elite, my friend. He is elite. Right? And he's only just getting started.
And something we always talk about, even during the draft period, is always about on defense. It starts at the line, the defensive line. So I just wanted to move to the interior and talk about 3 guys. Osa, what's funny is everyone was talking about how great Osa's been doing. If you notice, Osa's doing nothing different. He's still doing the same thing, and he's still playing great, and he's doing a mop-up duty, and he's filling holes, and he's two-gapping, doing everything we need. But nobody's talking about it because now it's just become the norm for us to go, there's Osa, he's doing his thing again.
Well, there's a reason for this, because he's not getting the big hits, the tackles for loss, but he's still effectively...
He's doing what he needs to do.
But this is where, and Lauren will back me up on this, if one defensive player is actually doing their job, hitting up the gaps, right, it's going to free up another offensive lineman to get those actual tackles for loss or the sacks. So it's stuff one of them's going to get the other. Either way, it's going to swap about.
It's unselfish. It's an unselfish position in some ways because it doesn't look great on the stats. But I also want to talk about Carlos Watkins. He seems to be doing fine. Another guy who doesn't come up on the stat sheet and is doing his job. He's looking great. He's mopping up and he's doing everything. But the one I wanted to talk about, the unsung hero, is Justin Hamilton. Last week, that game for me. And we knew what he could do. And I was even shocked, because he was on my final 53. And when he didn't make it, I was like, oh, okay. And he made it to the practice squad. You're like, all right, there's something there. But last week, we got to see what Hamilton was. He was just... the way he was moving the centre back into the running back to stop the running lane. Wow.
So I don't know if we kind of talked about this before we even started going live. There was a reason why Justin Hamilton was brought into the team was because of how the Vikings were lined up, where the centre had previous troubles with that type of caliber of player, that style of the interior defensive lineman. It'd be the exact same with Gallimore. Gallimore's that same type of thing in the same respect, but whereas Hamilton, he just had an absolute field day when it came to
he did it.
Him and Bahana as well. I mean, they were playing the one technique fantastically, and causing all sorts of hassle on that line. Obviously. We're not missing Urban as a result of the play that Hamilton and Bohanna are doing as well. I mean, again, it's next man up, and where in the past next man up was, oh Christ, we're bringing some donkey in. This is all of these guys are contributing.
And here's the thing: see, when it comes to playing the one technique, you are bound to get double teamed pretty much.
That's the main spot where you're gonna get
even if you're half a step off the guard, whatever strong side, whatever side that you are, the center is always trying to look towards you and try and close you down regardless. And I think that's where the success is, and that's where Hamilton came into play, because he knew that the center was never going to make it up to hit his blocking time, and Hamilton would just swing right through it every time. Pretty much.
And here's the headache now that Hamilton causes you, is he returns back to the practice squad. But if we call him up again now, he has to play on the active roster. So we have to drop someone for Hamilton now if we want him to come back in. Because of the rules with the way it's changed with practice squad because of COVID and what have you. He has to be on the active roster now if we want him to play.
Yep.
So you'd have to drop somebody, hope that they clear waivers so that you could put Hamilton on the active roster and hope then that you can switch it back again. It's a hell of a headache.
We've only actually got 50 on the active roster at the moment. So
yes, of course, because of Jabril Cox and Bradley and I. Yeah. Of course. So there is that.
The space to bring him back in. Yeah.
So here's a question for you guys. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. Who is Trayvon shadowing and following around the field?
Cortland Sutton.
Yeah. You worried about the big play ability from Cortland then?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I think there will be attempts to throw the big plays, but I think Dix will have it covered. But I'm actually feeling more confident every week now with Anthony Brown, and I think I never thought I would say that, despite the disaster of the first game of the season that he had.
You can't go off that.
But exactly, I can't go off that now. But after seeing his gradual improvement, like, he's had a quite. If we're not talking about him, he's having a good game.
Exactly.
So, and with that, I think the matchup with him and Jerry Jeudy is actually quite an interesting one. I think that would actually play to our advantage.
When you think as well that they got Tim Patrick as well, so he's not really the answer. He's not the answer.
He's more the slot receiver, is he not?
Yeah, because their other slot receiver, who is it KJ Hamler, who went out on IR? Yeah, Hamlin, sorry, yeah. So obviously they needed Tim to play in. But for me, Jerry Jeudy, he's going to come back. Great route runner. Amazing route running. High pointing the ball as well. He's amazing at. But you got to think match awareness, match fitness, his instincts. You know, he's literally spent half a season out. So I think, like you say, Anthony Brown, and the good thing with Anthony Brown, when you look at it, he literally hasn't given up any penalties.
Yep.
I'd also like to point out at this juncture that the Broncos took Jeudy over Lamb.
They did.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Denver.
And the Raiders took Ruggs, you know. So.
Yeah.
Let's avoid that one right now.
Yeah, that's sensitive, that one.
Yep. I may have to dub that out when it goes to the podcast audio version. Hold on, cough.
Well, one thing we'll say is rest in peace to the person that was involved in that car crash. Condolences to the family, but still, there's just no excuse. You've got Ubers and lifts,
and his girlfriend as well, who's obviously, you know, she's talking about life-changing injuries. They've got a kid together as well, who thankfully wasn't in the car. So, you know, he's obviously, you know, missing his dad now, and you know, his mum's not going to be. She's not going to be around for a bit in a way while she's recuperating. So he's going to get farmed out to his relatives.
Yeah. So let's bring it back, guys. Let's bring it back. Because we don't like to be depressed on this show.
Well, so what I'm going to say now, like, I'm just looking at the Broncos games so far. So they've won... So they've beat the Jags 23-13, 26-0 to the Jets, lost 23-7 to the Ravens, lost 27-19, 34-24 Raiders, 17-14 Browns.
The Browns, which was just an awful game. That game was just horrific.
Not one game if they reached 30 points in the actual regular season. Not one game.
No, they have only gone 30. I think it's something like 30. They've only scored 39 points twice since 2019.
That's so unheard of for when you really look at the history of like a team like the Denver Broncos. They've been a really good attacking offense over the course of this when they had Peyton Manning.
And a defense that will just slow everything down.
Yeah, and that's what I'm like. It's baffling what's going on. Especially
I don't know if you guys agree, but I don't think they've beaten a top 15 defense. You know, they've not. As soon as they've come up against a defense with a bit of talent in it, they've lost.
The way you got to look at it, though, is that that defense is not going to stop this Cowboys offense. So they're always playing from behind, which means that they're always going to be trying to attack downfield, and they're just not going to be able to do that in this defense and do it consistently as well. But let me get your score predictions then. Everyone at home as well, and we'll move to the fantasy segment. We'll do it in alphabetical order, so Cinnamon Stick can go first. So give me your score prediction, Graham. What do you think the game score is going to be in the final minute? The final minute? The final second? Final second.
I think it's going to be a bit of a wipeout, to be honest. I'm going to go...
Ooh, Filetti's went 48-13.
I'm going to go
like it.
32-10 Cowboys.
32-10 to Graham. Lorne?
I'm going to go 42-10.
Paul?
Okay,
Team 40 burger rides again.
Right, so I'll bring up the comments of the scores so far. So DG Dogs went 31-20.
Commendable. Okay.
All right. Joe from Italy went for 45-14. So
I love it.
So I'm going based on how the Broncos have done in terms of their losses, and so they've lost significantly, like by over two scores and stuff like that, and really closely handed. So I'm gonna go and wait for this 54-21.
Team 50 burger.
The only thing I would say against that is that, do you not think they will have taken Dak out at some point for us not to get to 54? I mean, that's just pouring it on.
I'm sorry, but I just got Brando just beat me in my score. He's went for 60 though.
30 points from when Dak's on the field and 30 points when Cooper rushes on the field.
I'm
split it right down the middle.
The reason I'm saying that, I think our running game is just going to cause so much. I think there's even going to be a defensive touchdowns in the game. I really do.
I'm going for a shutout. I can't see him scoring.
I think Parsons gets his interception that he's been looking for. I think he gets his interception, and he'll run it back for a pick six.
Ooh, interesting, spicy. I like a spicy one.
Dog knows what I'm thinking. DJ, don't you know exactly what I'm thinking here?
All right then, guys. Should we wrap it up on the fantasy lounge and then let everybody get back to their beds? Let's rock it.
Let's have one more Shermanator. Confidence is high.
Confidence is high.
Confidence is high.
That is going to be something that we do every week. I think is going to be
that's going to be a new T-shirt now. Confidence is high.
Yeah. Not just America's team, and on the back, confidence is high. All right then, guys. So play along at home. It's just something that we finish up with, wrap the show up with, and then everybody can get to their beds or the bar or back to work, wherever you are in the world. We'll let you get back to it. So it's very, very simple. I give you the predictive score points from NFL.com. Round the points up or down accordingly. So it's just a single, no like 0.54 or whatever. And just keep it simple. Keep it simple. If you think the score is going to be more, give us a boy, oh boy. If you think it's going to be less, it's a oh boy. So we'll start off with Dak, and I'll let you all shout out what you think the score, whether it's going to be more or less. Dak, 20 fantasy points. Boy, oh boy, or oh boy?
I think that's pretty freaking obvious.
Yeah, boy, oh boy.
What the hell?
Yeah, we all go in boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna push on that actually, because Cooper Rush is going to be in the second half. In fact, he's going to be in it come the second quarter. We'll be up 30 points anyway. So
I'm going to say Cooper Rush is around at 15.
The only thing I would say with Dak here is I think Dak is going to maybe not throw as much. You might see him running a bit more, but the Russian attack from both Zeke and... But the Russian attack from Zeke and Tony is why he's going to pull Dak's score down. I do think he scores more than 20, though, against his defense.
Don't forget the screen passes to Zeke and Tony as well. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
And
the swing passes, extended handoffs, if you like, yeah.
And the Hulk formation as well, we'll be running from the wishbone again. So
that was impressive, wasn't it? It's like
you're talking to a guy who's a very big fan of the wishbone. I've always been a fan of the wishbone. But then again, I was also a fan of the Wildcat, so don't hold that against me. All right, Zeke, 14 fantasy points. Boy, oh boy, or
boy, oh boy again, and it's not close.
Yeah, I agree on that one. When I seen that, I thought, okay, if you're going 20 fantasy points with Dak, I can argue that, but then you're a bit low on Zeke. So where are the points coming from?
So what was it, 14?
Yeah.
So when you break it down, it's either going to be 140 yards and no
with
touchdowns.
No TD.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up the point again. The Broncos' top 2 tacklers are safeties. I'll just bring up that point yet again.
Yes. There you go. Exactly. Like, so again, and if you want to break it down even further, if you want 2 touchdowns, that's 20 yards as well.
Yeah.
There's no way you're just going to inject Zeke in just for red zone only. It's going to be 100+ yards and maybe 2 touchdowns. So it's going to be in the 20+.
Yeah, agree.
Zeke's biggest threat is Tony Pollard, but I still think he gets over 14.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
all right then.
And Dog are totally agreeing. Boy, oh boy, definitely.
I think so too. I think it's a nice game for him.
That's a fair one. Yeah, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. Maybe one of them on a receiving touchdown. Yeah, in that sort of 10-yard swing pass, halfback wheel sort of deal over there.
Texas routes,
Texas route in the end, and swings it round. Perfect example of why I think that can go. All right, Amari Cooper. This is where it gets tricky. 14 fantasy points.
Spot on. I think that's going to be spot on.
I would say boy on this.
I think that's going to be spot on.
I'll push on it.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot more Cedric Wilson in this game, to be honest.
I think it's going to be the other wide receivers, and they're going to just really use Amari on these routes. Maybe on a 3rd down, he'll catch a pass and go out of bounds.
Yeah.
They're really trying to ease back on him in this game, which I think they'll do in the Falcons game too. They're just trying to ease back a little bit.
He does show up in the injury reports. I'm going to agree with you, Mike. I'll go, oh boy.
Yeah,
but
just to try and...
It's not a criticism, though.
Yeah. No. He's not going to have a bad game or anything. They just want to take the foot off the accelerator with him a little.
If you were to say Cooper was going to be 10 points, then I would have said boy, oh boy. I think it would be more than 10 points.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, when you think point per reception, so you think he gets, say, 4 or 5 receptions. There's 5 already.
Yep. Yeah, so the majority of the comments are agreeing with us as well. It's an old boy, so
just to ease back off him a little bit, because he has played a lot of snaps, Amari Cooper, and he's taken some punishment in that time. CD Lamb, 16 fantasy points.
Again, that's actually
just we're talking wide receiver. Michael Gallup is still on IR, isn't he?
Yes,
he is.
Sort of. He's in the return mode.
Yeah, we either activate him this week or next week.
Yeah,
so
correct.
We're going to make the decision by then. McCarthy said that he's was looking good in practice last week, but just not enough. Obviously, he's hoping it builds up again this week, and there's potential for him.
It's a tricky one on the management side, what you do with him at this stage.
Yeah.
The reason I bring it up now is because he's going to start chipping away at targets for the other two. Yeah. That's why I'm talking fantasy.
Yeah. Of course.
It's
a tricky one now. 16 for Lamb.
I'm going to say, oh boy, because
Okay.
and DJ Doll just brought this to my attention as this comment right here. We have failed to talk about Patrick Surtain.
He's done okay. That's
But
why.
I know he's done okay, but I think I'm not thinking. I think he will be might actually put, but not put. He'll. I'm trying to find the right words to describe it. We're not going to.
The only thing I will say is that he's going to be. I could see him lining up against the likes of CD Lamb, and CD Lamb against Patrick Surtain is it's an unfair matchup. Lamb will win that battle, and then if you're talking about on the other side with Amari Cooper, what we've just said, they may take the foot off the accelerator with him.
I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard to visualize it, if I'm being perfectly honest, man. That's why I'm kind of struggling to think about it. It was just that comment. I was like, oh Christ, I didn't even think about it.
He's okay. He's doing fine, but you got to think he's a rookie cornerback, and though if he's up against CD Lamb, I'm taking that bet all day for CD Lamb to win that battle.
So so you're saying 16 points for Lamb?
Yeah.
I don't know, boys. I really don't know.
It's a tricky one.
What are you going, Gray? I'm going to go maybe 13 or 14 points. Oh boy. 13 or 14. But 13 or 14 points isn't terrible, though. It's not.
No, at all.
No.
A touchdown in that. So
when you think the way that the Cowboys will issue this ball around, because you've got to take Schultz into account, Jarwin, Cedric Wilson, Pollard's going to be catching passes. And don't forget as well, there's a guy that everybody keeps forgetting about is Noah Brown.
Yeah, there's that as well.
That guy's having a good game. And do you know what's really annoying with Noah Brown? While we're talking about it, I've gone and checked that Noah Brown's had 4 big plays called back because of penalties, mostly Connor Williams on holding calls. Honestly, no, they are. That there's been like 4 plays for Noah Brown of 20 yards or more that have been called back because of an offensive penalty.
I'm just thinking now, I'm more thinking towards red zone for CD Lamb. CD Lamb, you're more or less guaranteed to, if the ball's getting thrown at him, it's going to be a touchdown pretty much. Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking it's going to be less in yardage, but if he's there in the red zone, he's targeted, it's going to be a touchdown. So
it's going to be touchdown dependent.
I'm going to say boy oh boy.
I'm going boy oh boy because I think they will take the foot off the gas with Cooper this week, and I think
so too.
We still had 200-yard receivers last week, and I think CD will be one. I think Cedric Wilson will probably be another one as well. So
it's hard with the Cowboys wide receivers because
it's like pick your poison.
Yeah, you just don't know how they're going to play it, what they're going to do. Cedric Wilson throws for a touchdown. How does that mark up on the fantasy? Do you know what I mean? The way he's going to go. But let's go to the other side. Teddy B, 15 fantasy points.
Well, with him, what you were trying to mention about him with completion of passes and stuff like that, but with them, with the inability to score, I think that's an accurate prediction for Teddy. I think that's pretty much bang on the back.
Bang on. Gray?
It's close. If I was to get off the fence, I'd say, "Oh boy."
Okay.
I'm going to change it to "Oh boy" because if there's you may have all these completions and whatever and that, but if there's a pick, interception, the points go back down again. So I'm going to say
exactly.
Oh boy.
I'm going oh boy.
All right then. Melvin Gordon, because they seem to have this inability. Vic Fangio wants to stick with Melvin Gordon over Javonte Williams for whatever reason, but there we go. That's what he's doing. 12 fantasy points.
Not the way how our defensive line are playing right now.
Not for me either. I'm saying that's a big
I'm going to say if you're going to give Melvin Gordon any in his best day against this D line right now, you're talking about maybe 6 points, and that's without a touchdown.
I mean, it's not a big target to hit. That's my only thing. I mean, a touchdown gets you halfway.
I know. That's what I'm kind of thinking. It could actually happen. It could be spot on again, Graham, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Like 60 yards and a touchdown. That's 12 points.
Yeah, I mean, both of the.
By the
both
way,
of
I've
the
just
running-
watched a video on Dak in practice. The guy's fluid. He's fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Just so you know.
Both of the Denver running backs are
Brian thinks we're
300
going to get
plus.
one.
All right. Both of them are running backs have got 300 yards on the season rushing and 150 on it through the air as well. So there's, I mean, I think you're probably talking about 7 points, and then if they do get a touchdown, then yeah, you're maybe over. But
see, to put that in perspective, to Lauren's stat, Tony Pollard has more than that.
Yeah,
and he's the backup.
Yep.
The last time we played the Broncos, and we had an extremely hard time doing this show, was when they had 2 players run over 100 yards on us.
Right, and it finished 42-17.
Zeke only had 8 yards or something like that. Yeah,
it was ridiculous. I hated that day. So they can't run on us.
I'm gonna go, oh boy. I just
okay.
So for Melvin Gordon,
there's no difference maker.
Like
for the Mels.
So for Melvin Gordon, I did say, oh boy, but more that I think about it, because receiving yards as well.
Oh, you've talked him out of it, Gray.
But see, that's the thing. You don't know how much Williams is going to get. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't have a difference maker, so you don't know who's going to get the workload.
You don't know if Fangio's going to get finally realize that Javonte is the better running back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what?
I'm gonna go. Oh boy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go. Oh boy.
I'm going. Oh boy.
I've read them in. See, I've read them in.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm sticking with oh boy is that the Cowboys' defense against the run, and when you look at the way like Parsons is able to take it down, that's my guy. That's my guy to stop the running back is Parsons, and he does it. He's doing it. There we go. Cortland Sutton then, 14 fantasy points.
Again, that's not a great number. You know, they're not setting the poll very high, are they?
We're too good. That's why.
I'm gonna say boy oh boy, because I think it's just going to be above that. I think with all the completions that
I'm going oh boy. I think Judy's probably Judy, because he's coming back. He'll be somewhat under the radar. You know, as far as it's going. If we've got depends who Diggs lines up on. If Diggs is lined up, Judy, obviously they've gone against each other day in, day out at college. So you know that would almost be a wash. I think you'd probably say that they hold each other in check. And then it's, you know, I think the call would be that Sutton would get the points. But I'm going to push on that one, I think.
Yeah. All right then.
I'm going to go boy oh boy, simply down to junk time.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking.
I've bashed Bridgewater. I've bashed Gordon. Somebody's got to score the points. I mean, really.
Someone's got to do something.
I think he'll tip it over in garbage time.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that they're going to do something at the end of the fourth quarter, and it pads a bit of what's going on there. Right? Do you want me to do it that we assume Jerry Judy's playing, or should we stick with Tim Patrick? Which way do you want to go? Should we say Jerry's playing? Should we go down that road?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, all right. Jerry Judy.
ESPN.
Jerry Judy, 10 fantasy points. First game back off injury, man, so I can see why.
I mean, a 30-yard touchdown scores that. I mean, that's nothing.
Is he going to get that? Is he going to get that though on his first day back off a major injury?
No, he's not ready. He's not ready as much reps. That's a
No.
boy. That's
They're going to want to. They're going to want to take it easy with him, is my opinion.
That's
their star. He is their star player. He's their star player.
It's only one pass though.
Oh, Valenti's went boy, oh boy.
All right. Okay.
Really?
No, that's fine.
I think it's great. As great as one pass for 30 yards and a touchdown, and that's. But it's whether we're going to give up touchdowns. That's. I'm going to go. Oh boy.
Oh.
I haven't talked myself into it. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
There's Brian.
I've got no boy. I just think they're just going to want to take their time with him. I mean, imagine that was like with Michael Gallup. Like say Michael Gallup comes back this week, like he does play in this game. You're not really going to want to push him too much here. Do you know what I mean? And he's not even our star wide receiver. He's not the number one over there. In Broncos, he's their number one. Yeah. He is their offense. So I think they'll just.
I liken it to the Jarvis Landry return. I think on Jarvis Landry's return, he got 2 receptions for 30 yards or something like that. And that was it.
You don't want to be rocking the boat. Yeah. You don't want to be rocking the boat with your main man. So yes, guys, that is that all neatly wrapped up. We've gone a little bit over, but I'm sure people involved aren't going to complain. But just a very quick one, paying the bills. If you are going to go to a game this year like Paul is, make sure you book it through Cowboys Experience. They have game day tickets, packages, deals, stadium tours, and you even get to meet some players if you go to their tailgate party, which you will not want to miss. And if you do go, make sure to send us your photos and your videos. And if you do decide to book, as you can see, use the code UK Cowboys. Because everyone at home and you guys here, what happens when you do that?
You get free stuff.
It ain't even that hard. It's a very simple word to say as well. In fact, it's only one word. It's only one word. The one word is Cowboys. U and K are letters. So you only really say in one word in 2 letters. It's that simple.
I couldn't believe somebody put in the Facebook group this week, who do I book tickets and travel packages through? I was going to go, do you not watch the pod?
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There we go.
But I will I'll be hooking up with our sponsor, Cowboys Experience, when I'm over there. So I'll be doing some work on the side with Barry and stuff like that as well. So guys,
I spoke to Barry today, actually.
Yep. But be sure to go check them out, guys.
Yeah. Oh, and I will tell you that there is some deals, packages that are coming out with some of the things that they're going to be doing. And they are even specifically making a package for international people. So like UK, Germany, Spain, Italy, all the rest of them. Like if you are a fan outside, you will want to do it. I can't say much more right now, but there will be something that's coming out and you can pay a membership fee. What they will give you is, yes. So we will be back on Sunday. You'll see us. If you don't have Game Pass in the UK, make sure to follow the UK Cowboys play-by-play on Twitter. We're always there. And yes, that will be us. Make sure to join us then and in the group chat. But for me, that's me finished talking. I'm going to let these guys finish the show off, and we'll see you all again on Tuesday.
Well, you won't see me. You might not see me for a couple of weeks, not in this same scenario, but I will try and tune in whenever I can. But yeah, go Cowboys. Let's get this win. Let's become 7-1.
Yeah, let's enjoy these new helmets that we're going to be wearing this.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Was it 1975?
76 it was.
Oh man, they look so good, man. Even with the red shirt, it looks so that is like the proper American helmet by far.
Oh yeah,
for the Medal of Honor.
Yes, which also reminds me, go get your poppy.
Yep.
Yep. Make sure you get your coffee, folks.
Well, anyway, that's us for this week. We'll see you all again on the weekend, on Sunday, and next week.
Yeah.
See you next
later,
time.
guys.
There, guys.